Black economy in Africa. My name is Ezinne Azun. I'm your host, and joining me as always to facilitate the French translation is our own very dear Ifoma Wagbogo. Bonjour, Ifoma, how are you? Welcome to the show. Or should I even say happy holidays?
Yes, bonjour. Happy holidays to you too. Bonjour, chers téléspectateurs. Soyez les bienvenus à Live Conversations. C'est un plaisir d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui. Live Conversations, comme vous le savez, est une diffusion bilingue en direct de l'écurie de Maritime TV Africa, qui engage des experts des parties prenantes du monde entier dans des débats sur les politiques, les développements, les événements au sein de l'économie bleue en Afrique, avec notre hôte Ezinne Azun.
All right, so should you want to reach Maritime TV Africa, please send an email to maritimetvafrica@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, www.maritimetvafrica.com for more content. Also remember to follow us on all social media handles, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and of course, TikTok at Maritime TV Africa.
Si vous voulez souhaiter contacter Maritime TV ou partager des histoires ou des idées sur l'économie bleue en Afrique, veuillez envoyer un email à maritimetvafrica@gmail.com. Vous pouvez également visiter notre site internet sur www.maritimetvafrica.com pour plus de contenu. Aussi, n'oubliez pas de nous suivre sur les différents réseaux sociaux en appuyant sur notre identifiant @Maritime TV Africa. Merci.
So at this point, we would like to request that you kindly take a second to repost or share this live broadcast. Do invite someone to join these very important conversations. Also, drop your comments and questions, and we'll be glad to engage you.
En ce moment, nous vous demandons de bien vouloir prendre une seconde pour diffuser ou partager cette émission en direct. Invitez quelqu'un à se joindre à cette conversation importante. Finalement, veuillez déposer vos commentaires et questions et nous serons heureux de dialoguer avec vous. Merci.
All right, so to the business of the day. Aggregating the gains of the blue economy and sustaining it will require the use of science, technology, and innovation. The National Center of Technology and Technology Management, the National Center for Technology Management, NACETEM, Nigeria, is an agency saddled with building up STI, that is science, technology, and innovation infrastructure and expertise. And it offers global relevance. It offers various packages for global relevance for the Nigerian public and MDAs, several of which are available for the blue economy. So joining us on Live Conversations today to discuss science, technology, and innovations for the blue economy is the Director General and CEO, National Center for Technology Management, NACETEM, Nigeria, the person of Dr. Olusola Odusanya. He's a passionate individual and very passionate about blue economy and science, technology, and innovation solutions for the sector. A consummate scholar, he sits on the board of Maths and Science for Sub-Saharan Africa initiative, a secondary school initiative across West Africa, and that of the International Scientific Advisory Board of the African Materials Research Society, AMRS, to mention a few. So Dr. Odusanya has over 50 academic publications in peer-reviewed journals, and he has a lot of international patents too. It sounds like I'm speaking to a nerd, Doctor. It's a delight to have you join us this morning. Thank you for joining Live Conversations. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm also delighted to be here. Thank you.
Alors, regrouper les gains de l'économie bleue et la maintenir nécessitera le recours à la science, à la technologie et à l'innovation. Le Centre national de gestion technologique NACETEM Nigeria est l'agence chargée de développer l'expertise en sciences, technologie et l'innovation pour le public nigérien et les agences gouvernementales dont plusieurs sont disponibles pour l'économie bleue. Aujourd'hui, le docteur Olusola Odusanya, directeur général et et PDG du NACETEM Nigeria, se joint à Live Conversations pour discuter de la science, de la technologie et des innovations pour l'économie bleue. Il est passionné par l'économie bleue et a développé des solutions sciences, technologie, innovation pour le secteur. Un érudit accompli, il siège au conseil d'administration de l'initiative de mathématiques et sciences pour l'Afrique subsaharienne, pour les écoles secondaires de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et au Conseil consultatif scientifique international de la Société africaine de recherche sur les matériaux, AMRS. Pour n'en citer que quelques-uns, le docteur Odusanya compte plus de 50 publications universitaires ainsi que des brevets internationaux. Bienvenue sur Live Conversations, Dr. Odusanya. Merci d'être ici.
Yes, bienvenue.
Merci beaucoup.
All right, so we just begin from the beginning, like I like to say, science, technology, and innovation, and the blue economy. You know, digital, for the benefit of our audience, how does your work connect with or relate with the blue economy?
Commençons par le début, comme je dis toujours, science, technologie, innovation et économie bleue. Monsieur, pour la culture de notre public, quel est le lien entre votre travail et l'économie bleue?
Thank you very much. I'll speak in English that I understand. Now, the National Center for Technology Management was set up by government as an agency that will do the following things. Train middle and high-level manpower in the areas of science, technology, and innovation for both the private and public sectors, and also do policy research, policy advisory, and also collect data on governance, so that at the end of the day, governments will make data-driven decisions. And these are fallouts from global understanding that when decisions are based on data, the decisions usually last longer and they make sense, you know. And the UNESCO, who was the driver of this initiative, along with the African Union, came together and said African countries, including Nigeria, should have an agency similar to NACETEM. So in 1992, NACETEM was given birth to, and from then on up till the present moment, we have been offering distinguishing value to the national economy by training people in the middle and high-level manpower sectors, and it cuts across all sectors of the economy. So the blue economy coming up recently when the government set up the Ministry for the Blue and Marine Economy, it became imperative, therefore, that the manpower needs of that sector needs to be dealt with in a more elaborate way and take care of the various pillars of the development of the blue economy. And we may quickly delve in and say that the pillars of the blue economy are in the areas of the environment, environmental husbandry, the socio-economic development and empowerment of people who live in environments that are close to the blue and marine economy, as well as the economic empowerment of those people. So it comes out in form of these three pillars: economy, environment, and social development of the people. And therefore, our job is therefore cut out. And of course, you know, the enablers of the blue economy now come in form of the oil and gas industry, tourism, making livelihood out of the waters, you know, and basically using the waters to culture things. So you have things like fisheries, shrimping, and things like that. You also have seaweed making, you have scallop development, you have oyster developments and things like that that bring livelihood to the people. So essentially, we need to teach people how to fish, so to speak, and use science and technology to do that. And there are several avenues for us. One of the most important avenues for us, because of the numbers of people we are dealing with, is the fact that we set up the NACETEM Academy, which is a digital academy, because we want to take advantage of the access that people have to digital platforms. We are also mindful of the fact that more than 215 million people are subscribed to the GSM telephony. If we break it down in numbers of actual individuals, there are in excess of 50 million people. So we have a digital community, so to speak, and our training modules are now going onto those digital communities to make sure that more people are reached, and especially the poor and vulnerable people who are in large numbers. And that is what cuts out our job. So we train across all boards, rural people, highly sophisticated people, but all the same, we are the brain of Nigeria, so to speak. So if you look at Nigeria as a knowledge system, we are the input supply. So we basically help to finish people off. So we describe ourselves sometimes as a finishing school. We are the people who bring knowledge to society, so to speak. So that's what cuts us very neatly into the marine and blue economy as the teachers of new outcomes, so to speak. Thank you.
Pour résumer, je peux dire que nous sommes comme les professeurs pour la culture nigérienne. La NACETEM a été établie par le gouvernement dans l'année 1992 et c'était pour former les gens de haut à moyen niveau sur toutes les choses qui concernent la façon de vivre, la façon de faire l'économie, de croître sur l'économie. Nous avons comme pilier de l'environnement, le développement social, socio-économique et l'économie. Et nous avons ce qui nous aide à accomplir notre tâche, c'est l'industrie pétrolière, le tourisme. Nous cultivons, il y a le besoin de cultiver les choses comme la pêche, les crevettes, les choses que nous ne consommons pas ici encore pour le moment, mais qui donnent le gain de façon économique, c'est-à-dire la pêche, cultiver les algues, les coquilles Saint-Jacques, les huîtres. Donc, pour nous, nous formons les gens. Nous sommes comme le cerveau, nous sommes comme les maîtres. Et ce que nous donnons, c'est de former les gens de tous les niveaux. Ça peut être les gens à la base, niveau de la société et les gens au niveau de la société. Mais l'essentiel, c'est que nous formons les gens.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We're particular about the blue economy and the maritime sector, especially because education here is very tailored and specific, globally. The expectations are laid out by either regulatory bodies like the IMO. And so I would like you to let us know what value does your training bring to the sector? What additional value would your training be bringing to the sector? Yes, we hear digitalization everywhere. We hear various development on manned vessels and all that. Also, let us into any of the groundbreaking studies you have done on STI that relates with the blue economy.
Nous sommes particuliers en ce qui concerne l'économie bleue. Disons, partagez avec nous, s'il vous plaît, la valeur ajoutée que vos formations ont donnée à l'économie bleue. Et si vous avez les innovations aussi, veuillez partager-les avec nous.
Yes, thank you very much. This is a multiple barrels question, so I'll try to be brief, but at the same time, get to the point. Now, the blue economy, like any economic sector, has the structured and the unstructured part. And when you look at the population of the people who are beneficiaries of such economy, you realize that there are a larger number of people who come in the unstructured part of the blue economy. There is a narrow attitude towards the blue economy that people look at without realizing that the bigger picture is with people who may not be considered but are most important in the husbandry of this resource that we have. Now, if you start from the problems of the blue economy, you see that there's a lot of pollution issues. There are lots of issues of management, fisheries, resources management and stuff like that. And most of the time, the people who are actually facing the ocean on the daily basis are usually not considered. And you find that whereas the International Maritime Organization has already set up structures on the ascent of technical people into the blue economy. There's a large number of people that are not taken care of, and those are the people that are of concern to us. We also know that in any educational setting, most often we have 70% of people are vocationally trained, and those are the people that actually give the numbers. 70% of vocationally trained people are usually engaged in any job genre, and the maritime sector is no different. So whereas the IMO have already structured training and facilitation for people who want to become professionals, there is a large number of people who are non-professionals who need to be trained on simple basic skills of how to take care of the environment, improve their income and food security. And these are like artisanal fish farmers, artisanal culturists who want to grow stuff within the environment. So part of our business is to now train these people, give them lifelong skills that will help to take care of the environment around the waters and also take care of their certification. So we also offer global certification, and we therefore build, on structures. Then when you look at the formal sector, which is also very important to us and critical also, we offer bespoke global certification and accreditation. In most instances, you find that in the maritime sector, a lot of people travel overseas to get certification. So we are working with the sector and within the sector to ensure that those institutions that give degrees also get accreditation, and global certification now gets added to the certificates that are offered. Case in point, when you look at boat building, for example, to build a boat, you need a couple of skills. You need to have welders. You need to have people who understand glass fiber reinforcement, if it's a glass fiber boat you want to build. And if it's a metallic boat, you may want to be thinking of aluminum. You may also want to be thinking of foaming in order to make the boat buoyant. In other words, it's an area of technologies, and that's where technology management comes in. So we infuse technology into sectors. For the marine sector, what is relevant is welding. We have global certification through the Canadian Welding Institute and the International Welding Federation. We are working through advocacy to ensure that anybody who is a welder in Nigeria not only joins the National Welding Institute and the Nigerian Welders Association, but joins those associations because he's skilled and is globally certified, making him globally competitive, making him globally relevant, and giving him job mobility opportunities. So our job is to make other people's jobs better. And that's what NACETEM was set up for, to ensure that there is strength within the system, and that strength comes through global certification that ensures that the people that we are elevating are moving into the world, with skills, and they are recognized based on skills, and they are always in demand. Our mantra is to eventually identify a Nigerian with a skill, and that skill will be a marketable skill that takes the person all across the world. So that's our focus, and that's the relevance we bring to the maritime sector.
OK, notre objectif, je commence par la fin, c'est d'identifier les gens et leur donner les atouts qui puissent les aider à travailler jusqu'à la fin de leur vie. Vous voyez que dans l'économie bleue, il y a des côtés structurés, les côtés non structurés. Ceux qui bénéficient souvent sont moins que ceux qui sont moins. Ceux qui bénéficient, notre attitude est très, très étroite. Nous considérons peu ceux qui sont les plus importants. Et qui sont ceux qui sont les plus importants? Ce sont ceux qui ne sont pas formés de façon professionnelle, c'est-à-dire ils ne sont pas allés à l'université. C'est les gens, les artisans, les gens qui ont appris un travail à la main, les artisans, les gens qui ont des vocations. Quand bien même l'OMI a établi des structures, il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont ignorés. Je dois vous citer que 70% des gens qui qui sont importants, qui donnent le travail dans le secteur maritime sont ceux qui sont des artisans. Je parle des pêcheurs artisanaux, etc. Donc, pour nous, notre objectif, c'est de les former, les donner des atouts pour la vie. Nous offrons aussi ce que nous voulons faire pour qu'ils puissent travailler n'importe où, c'est de donner les certifications mondiales. Nous avons aussi les certificats qui sont taillés aux besoins spécifiques, mais ce que nous encourageons aux gens, c'est de, après avoir été formés, d'avoir les certifications qui les donnent un pied sur le plan mondial. Nous aussi recommandons à ceux qui font des adhésions sur des sociétés internationales, par exemple les soudeurs, sur les soudeurs internationaux, nous les encourageons d'être membres et que si vous voyez par exemple la construction d'un bateau, il y a plusieurs côtés, plusieurs atouts, plusieurs technologies sont dedans. Les soudeurs, les fibres de fer, les aluminiums. Donc, vous voyez qu'il y a beaucoup, il y a un éventail des atouts, des technologies qui rentrent dans une seule activité comme construire un bateau. Donc, ce que nous faisons, c'est d'améliorer les emplois des autres. Ensemble, je peux dire ça, nous améliorons les emplois des autres. Nous les aidons à faire leur travail de façon plus efficace et d'une façon qui les met au plan mondial.
All right, thank you, Foma. I would like to ask a question that the industry would really want to hear your response on, and that's about the single window, because one of the foremost efforts towards digitalizing the sector has been getting a single window for all transactions, and it's a critical pillar or component for ease of doing business within the maritime blue economy. Over a decade now, we're still trying to get it right. We're still trying to find a single window for industry players. Why is this so? Why do we seem to lack the ability or capacity to develop a foolproof single window portal?
Un pilier essentiel pour faciliter les opérations dans le secteur maritime, vous convenez avec moi, est un guichet unique pour toutes les transactions. La création d'un tel système a été retardée pendant plus d'une décennie. Pourquoi en est-il ainsi, selon vous? Est-ce que nous manquons de capacité pour développer un portail à guichet unique infaillible?
Thank you very much. This is a very important issue you raised. And you can see that, unlike in most instances, we now have a government that has recognized the marine and blue economy as a standalone socioeconomic activity that the nation needs to take advantage of and basically focus on. Aside from arable agriculture, this is the next biggest agricultural endeavor that the government has recognized. It has recognized the huge tourism potential of this sector. It has recognized the huge extractive component of this sector that is different from even the oil and gas, and it gives a lot of opportunities, to synergize with the oil and gas industry. So fundamentally, we are moving towards the right direction in getting a single window as been described. And again, it cuts across all the different pillars of the blue economy. Now, when you talk about a single window for education, a single window for input development, a single window for the basic three pillars of the blue economy would evolve when we begin to have data. And data is a center for everything. So without the relevant data, it will be difficult for the industry to evolve a single window. So data harmonization is part of what needs to be done, and we need to collect the data and therefore make stochastic predictions that will help us determine what the numbers are. We need to know our numbers. We need to know the number of skippers, the number of first, second engineers and marine engineers we want to have, and we need to have in order to achieve certain milestones. So goal setting will be done by the parent ministry, and all the relevant agencies that fall under the maritime organization censorship will now come together and supply their input. So we now have a central body that is going to make that happen, and that's the marine and blue economy. As you can see, it's evolving. And I'm sure within a short time, we will have separate structures that are divorced from the Ministry of Transport and takes advantage of the fullness of the marine and blue economy. And agencies like NACETEM will continue to play relevance because we are the data center that continues to collect the data and make those stochastic projections that will help us grow the manpower, the infrastructure, and then the economies around the blue economy. So there are several sectors of the blue economy that needs to be taken care of, and they are all data-driven because the outcomes are defined, and what you expect is therefore defined in terms of the adding value to people, adding value to the resources, mapping the resources we have, and all of that. It's only when you have that you can now say, yes, these are my goals. But at a point where we are still at the pedestrian level, there's a lot of work to do. And one thing that is certain, that is different now, is that there is recognition that we are at a pedestrian level and we need to build structures. Those structures are the ones that will now lead to the evolution of this single window. It's coming, and we are in the right path. And I can assure you that most of the agencies that are relevant in this sector are working towards that. It's not as easy as a single one and say, yes, I'm creating something. That has to be a data-driven decision. And that further specifies why NACETEM was established and why we continue to play a relevant role within the marine and blue economy. Thank you.
C'est une très bonne question, c'est très important. Et ce qui est important dans tout cela, ce sont les données. Pour pouvoir avoir un guichet unique, nous avons besoin de données. C'est pour cela que NACETEM est là. Nous allons apporter du soutien pour voir que les données sont tous récoltées. Nous pouvons les analyser en bien faire. Ce qui est aussi bon, c'est que le gouvernement actuel reconnaît l'importance de tout en ce qui concerne l'économie bleue, en donnant un ministère à part pour l'économie bleue. Nous, ça, c'est une reconnaissance du fait que nous ne sommes pas encore là où nous devrions être, mais nous sommes sur le bon chemin. Donc, c'est à nous maintenant de avoir les trois piliers pour un guichet unique. Ce sont l'éducation, le développement et l'économie. Nous sommes sur la bonne voie pour les établir, mais je dois signaler que ce sont les données. C'est les données qui comptent pour tout. Combien de maîtres nous avons, combien d'ingénieurs, combien de ci, combien de ça. Nous ne pouvons pas avoir tout ça sans les données, sans la technologie, et NACETEM est là pour apporter ce soutien et cette aide. Ça va arriver. Nous sommes sur le bon chemin.
All right, thank you. DG, sir, while we agree that data collation would be very necessary for the single window, honestly, it's just been too long coming, you know. I remember when this whole thing began over almost 20 years ago, actually, and we're still where we are. So industry wants to see some level of progress. But that said, you know, your STEM programs, let's talk about it. You have STEM programs for education, and aggregating the gains of Black economy would mean that we're able to export tech-savvy seafarers and manpower within the maritime Black economy, you know, not only in Nigeria, but outside. But I know that our government aspires to be one of the foremost exporters of seafarers. And so how have you put in within your work, maybe in partnership with MTAs, maritime training institutions like the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, and how have you are you partnering with them to find a way of beefing the quality of our seafarers? Because your certifications are global. So if a seafarer has a tech certification from NACETEM, it's value added, definitely. Let us into what you are doing so far about that.
Cher DG, comme bien même que je suis d'accord avec vous que nous avons besoin de données, je dois toujours signaler que ça a pris trop du temps. Ça a pris vraiment trop du temps. Ça fait plus de 20 ans que nous attendons ce guichet unique. Mais cela, ayant dit ça, vous disposez de programmes STEM, c'est-à-dire sciences, technologies, ingénierie et mathématiques pour l'éducation. Le regroupement des gains de l'économie bleue inclut le fait que les jeunes, en particulier les gens de mer et les autres acteurs de la chaîne de valeur deviennent experts en technologie. Est-ce que cela est en cours dans votre travail? Est-ce que vous êtes en partenariat avec des institutions de formation maritime telles que Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, pour renforcer la qualité de nos professionnels?
Yes, thank you very much. Another very important question. For us, most of our decisions are data-driven. And like we came to the same conclusions that the educational sector has come to, that the problems of education in this sector, this marine sector, come together as problems of access, quality, and relevance. Relevance to the socioeconomic needs of Nigeria, access in terms of physical access to knowledge, and quality of the information that is given. Now, we solved all of this in one fell swoop by looking at the structures that are necessary. In the first instance, digital literacy is fundamental. It will surprise you that the level of digital literacy is still low in Nigeria, and that's also based on data that is available to us based on research we do. We also were offering boardroom training. We go into boardrooms of institutions and convince them and provide for them training on data management. We teach Starter, we teach R, we teach MATLAB, and all the different kinds of statistical packages. But we found that was not sufficient. We needed to reach the numbers in terms of have more people have access to these educational services. So what we did was that we developed a collaboration through a local agent called Commit Nigeria Limited, and we got access to certificate certification for ICT, basic digital literacy, basic communication skills, and basic business skills. And then we broke it down. You get 5 certificates when you apply for that particular training, and those certificates are global, allowing you to be mobile, to work even from home, and have a global audience. When you get the certificates, certificate usually connects you to jobs, and these jobs are relevant even in the marine sector. Now, that is one. We also offer welding certifications that are international in nature. And welding for the marine and blue economy is specific and sometimes involving. And there are several levels of welding certification. You have the beginner's level, American Welding Standard D1.1, and then you have the supervisor certificates that go up to more than 100 different welding certificates. In the same way, when you look at the fiberglass materials development, we have developed random, interleaved, commingles, and several kinds of fiberglass, to the extent that we have some that are stronger than steel. And these are all available. Now, when you package all this knowledge together and add it to what the IMO offers, it offers superior competitiveness to those who go through our training. Now, we made it available to institutions and also to institutions like the NUC. We are talking to them that they have offered what they call the CC Mass, that allows universities to offer 30% of their courses to be their own de novo courses. And then they can take advantage of this finishing school that we created outside the existing institutions. We have an ongoing collaboration with the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, which is an umbrella organization for transport, and they have more robust collaborations with the maritime-related institutions. And our relationship is such that we're now building value, on a business-to-business level, rather than at an individual level. On a business-to-business level, the strategy is to ensure that these institutions adopt our training and then they offer them to their members in a way that we are effective but effective and reaching the numbers. Like I said, the problems of education hover around quality, access, and relevance, and we are offering all of this in one fell swoop through the collaborations we are having, and those collaborations are institution-based, and most of the institutions you have mentioned are partners within the Nigerian transport sector, and we are looking across other sectors to ensure that we have strength and impact in all of this. Thank you.
Pour résumer, ce que je dois dire, c'est que le problème de l'éducation, ça tourne autour de trois choses: l'accès, la qualité et la pertinence. Nous avons trouvé la solution pour ces trois choses. L'accès, nous les donnons, nous avons les formations dans les salles de conférence, nous avons les formations qui peuvent atteindre plus de personnes de par notre académie. La qualité de notre information, nos cours, la formation que nous donnons, ça donne la certification mondiale. Quand nous avons fini avec les gens que nous formons, ils sont à un niveau supérieur même que ce que l'OMI préconise. En ce qui concerne la pertinence, c'est à la pertinence socio-économique de ce qui est en cours au Nigeria maintenant pour les gens qui ont besoin de cette formation. Nous sommes en collaboration avec beaucoup d'instituts au Nigeria ici et nous recommandons aux gens, de prendre, de se bénéficier de nos formations parce que ça leur donne un niveau très haut, très supérieur aux autres. Pour la SUDU, par exemple, la SUDU dans l'économie bleue est très précis. Donc, nous donnons les choses qui rentrent jusqu'au cœur de ce dont les gens ont besoin. En ce qui concerne le fibre en verre, tout ce que nous faisons, c'est à un niveau supérieur. Je résume, c'est l'accès, la qualité, la pertinence. Et nous avons trouvé la solution pour tout cela. N'oubliez pas que l'alphabétisation numérique est très bas. Donc, nous sommes en collaboration avec les gens pour augmenter, pour hausser le niveau avec la technologie. Et en faisant ça, nous sommes sûrs que ça va croître de plus en plus.
Digisa, while I must commend you for your work on digital literacy, especially because it also offers maritime artisans the opportunity to take hold and, other professionals, I would like to ask about any innovation you have begun for the artisanal shipping sector, fishing sector. The artisanal fishing sector contributes about 70% of the entire earnings from the fishing industry. However, this industry is still very porous. We still have in various transactions that are unaccounted for and a whole lot of wastes. So is this an area your work seems to capture?
Quand bien même je dois vous féliciter pour ce que vous avez fait pour l'alphabétisation numérique, je dois vous demander ce que vous faites pour l'artisanal de pêche, la pêche artisanale. Le secteur de la pêche artisanale contribue à environ 70% de revenus tirés de la pêche. Cependant, le secteur reste poreux. De nombreuses transactions ne sont pas comptabilisées. Est-ce que vous envisagez de capturer ce domaine? Est-ce que c'est parmi ce que vous faites actuellement?
Thank you very much. This is an area that, for me personally, is a very, very, very topical area, and one that evokes the best out of me as an individual, because I've seen the level of poverty that is needless on a maritime resource that is very rich and abundant. For the general information of the public, Nigerian waters are underfished. When you look at the total area that is available to us to fish, according to convention, we realize that we are not fishing as much as we should be. And one of the major problems is one of technology. The infrastructure that we use to access these resources is very poor. We use wooden boats that are connected with metals that debond very easily and make it difficult for us to go to areas where the waters are calmer and where the fishes are waiting to be caught. And we therefore fish in the areas where, you know, the waters are turbulent, there is a lot of marine transport and all of that, because the vessels we have are not good enough to go to the places where the resources are. We also don't use technologies such as sonar and fish finder technologies. And there's a lot of ignorance that such technologies exist. And as a result, we are not reaping the benefits that we have been endowed with, leaving a vacuum for rogue vessels to come in and fish our resources even without record. We ourselves don't have a good map of what the resources are. We need to have data about the resources we have, the kinds of fish that we can find in the environment, and then how to tap these resources. If you do a survey and ask the average Nigerian, you know, the kinds of fish that come from fresh water, brackish water, and the ocean, it will shock you to realize that many of the Nigerians don't know the fish around their environment. Maybe the knowledge in West African sub-region among the French-speaking population is better, perhaps maybe as a result of the technological divide that I also see as another problem. The issues relating to knowledge are quite wide. And we have started packaging, you know, unique fisheries technologies. You know, we are looking at how do you cultivate exotic items, you know, from the open ocean. We also have the sophisticated end. We are encouraging people to grow caviar and look towards an export market. But most of the stuff that are basic, you know, how to catch crab, how to grow scallops, how to grow oysters, and go from the ocean floor are things that we have as training packages. And we are still trying to work around how we are going to give this out to communities. So we are engaging with the legislators who come from those littoral states to persuade them that rather than buy motorbikes and the traditional items that end up in imports of items from different parts of the world, they should rather focus on this huge natural resource and try to take advantage of it and turn around the economy in such a way that we begin to have income generating activities from the ocean, you know. And a good example is growing seaweed. You hardly do anything rather than set up the structures and seed the structures that float, the flotation devices, and then the seaweed begins to spread. And all you do is harvest and dry. Now, these are infrastructure, training, knowledge issues that need to be packaged together. And we already have those. Now we are in the acculturization period where we are now trying to convince those who could fund these trainings so that it could be delivered to those who need it. We've spent our time looking carefully at the maritime economy and saying, look, if we're going to take care of the environment, the people who are near the waters need to understand how important this resource is, and they need to now take care of it and ensure that it's not polluted. But of course, on the other hand, when you look at oil and gas, it's almost synonymous with pollution. So regulation also comes in there. And again, we are in the process of acculturization. We are persuading the agencies responsible to take more action when spillages occur and stuff like that. But most importantly is for the communities to realize the huge opportunities that exist beyond.
Okay. Should I go ahead? Je
Yes,
continue?
please.
Oui, merci pour la question, Ezine. C'est une question qui me tient à cœur parce que j'ai vu le niveau inutile de pauvreté. J'utilise le mot inutile parce que nous sommes tellement doués des ressources halieutiques que c'est dommage que nous ne pouvons pas bénéficier de tout ce que nous avons. Nos eaux restent sous-exploitées dans la mesure où nous pourrons aller. Et c'est un problème technologique. Nous n'avons pas des infrastructures. Nos bateaux sont minables. Nos bateaux ne pouvons pas, ce sont les bateaux qui se sont faits à base de bois et fer, qui ne peuvent pas aller là où il y a les poissons. Donc, les poissons sont là, nous ne pouvons pas les atteindre. Donc, c'est un problème technologique. Nous sommes en train de voir comment combattre ça. Nous sommes en train d'étudier pour voir que l'économie bleue, c'est quelque chose qui peut nous donner de richesse. Mais c'est à nous de sensibiliser les communautés pour qu'ils sachent juste à quelle mesure ils ont des ressources qui peuvent taper dedans pour en bénéficier. Oui, nous sommes en train aussi de voir comment nous pouvons cultiver les produits exotiques. Nous sommes en train de voir pour le caviar, mais même pas les caviars, les choses bases, les choses simples, les huîtres, les coquilles Saint-Jacques, les crabes. Nous ne savons pas encore comment cultiver les crabes et tout ça. Donc, les algues, c'est très facile à cultiver. C'est à nous de savoir comment de mettre la technologie en place pour nous permettre de taper nos ressources afin d'enrichir la communauté. Mais la sensibilisation est clé.
Ifeoma, thank you. You can imagine how much knowledge is available in the industry, which many of us do not even have access to.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
discussing with the DG this afternoon throws more light to what we're doing. And also, I think that we have a whole lot of silo efforts in the industry that we need to collate. So what do you think?
I think that's the problem. The DG had said, earlier when we were speaking to him, the fact that there were so many agencies, and yet each agency was wanting to work on their own rather than to work as a group. If they could come together, what do you have to bring? What do you have to bring? And then we put it all together for the, common good. I think it really would help. And one of the points he was also making was the fact that what NACETEM does is to create knowledge. We give you solutions to problems, and then you can pay when you've gotten the know-how, the savoir-faire. We're not going to say pay this for a license, pay this for a permit. Come, let us teach you, empower you to then go and do what will benefit you, your community, and the country at large. So yeah, it's very important, the work NACETEM is doing.
While he spoke, I recalled some of the guests we've had on the show. You remember Dr. Flower from Zimbabwe?
Absolutely.
Zanzibar, and you remember Mr. Williams from the International Ocean Institute.
Yes.
Then you think of what's happening at the Institute of Oceanography. There's a lot of data available. It's just that collation of this data, that we're finding.
Exactly. And the last point he was making, which also links to the gentleman we had about the inland waterways, the riches that we have all along. He says, rather than invest in all these things that you import, motorcycles and this and that and buses, invest in the blue economy, invest in making navigable boats so that people can go and fish where the fish actually are, so that people can use it for transport, so that we can, improve our tourism. There's just so much.
There's so much to do. And that digital space, NACETEM seem to be filling up is something that is very, very important. Once you get it, it looks like the key that would unlock several other aspects of the business. And we shouldn't find organizations or agencies, other MDAs working, without them. They should actually be part of what the system or the entire industry is doing, so that they'll provide that digital technology expertise.
I couldn't agree with you more. We need to work less in silos. NACETEM seems to me to be at the center. These other agencies.
Technology is at the center these days. Without technology, we can't really
we can't do anything.
Our time is up, but then let's just wait a while and see if he'll be back soon. Oh, he is here. All right, sir. Okay. All right, sir. So can we have your concluding thoughts on this, especially with what the industry should be doing, now that it's obvious the future of the economy cannot be divorced from technology, it can't be divorced from science, it can't be divorced from innovation. So if you can, even if it's just your audio we can get, we'll be fine with that, just to hear what your concluding thoughts are on the future for the industry. You can also share a bit on how stakeholders can partner with you or locate you wherever you are in the country. Thank you, sir.
S'il vous plaît, monsieur, si nous pouvons vous demander vos dernières pensées.
NACETEM is located
in...
Okay, from after you,
go
please.
Go on.
Okay. DJ, sir, it's over to you. DJ, sir, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm trying to limit the data usage.
Okay.
NACETEM is located in the 6 geopolitical zones. We are in Lagos, we are in Bayelsa. Hopefully, we'll be in Port Harcourt at some point. We want to be in those states, all the littoral states, Enugu, Yola, Kano, Abuja, and Ile-Ife, where the headquarters is. And the geographical spread is for us to offer distinguishing knowledge in STI to all sectors of the economy, maritime economy inclusive. In my final thoughts, what is important is for the central organization to happen, that is from the Marine and Blue Economy Ministry, and for all the players to come together. We, on our part, are working with the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, and we are hoping within this year, we will host a huge international conference together and perhaps focus on a theme of propulsion systems in maritime transport, among others. And that could be a way of doing our business better. Our own approach is a effective business-to-business interaction. We are not interested in getting a license that controls every other person, but ours is the business of handing technology over to the business sectors in Nigeria for them to do great and wonderful things. And then we collect the data and make those data available to government to do better planning and better research and better delivery of services to people. We are that back end for a very important agency that works with all the partners and looks at where the weaknesses are, and where technology is the weakness, we try to plug it by providing training and facilitation where it's necessary. So our job is to just work within the system and make the system work better. And that defines what the National Center for Technology Management is all about. Thank you.
Notre travail est de travailler avec le système et d'améliorer le système. C'est ça le résumé de ce qu'il a dit. Nous travaillons derrière. Nous ne sommes pas là où tout le monde nous voit, mais ce que nous avons à cœur, c'est de prendre la technologie, partager la technologie avec les gens. Et là où il y a les failles, les faiblesses, nous identifions les faiblesses et nous améliorons ça pour que tout marche. Donc, c'est ça, nous sommes présents dans 6 zones géopolitiques au Nigeria. Notre siège, c'est à Ile-Ife. Nous offrons la connaissance, comme je l'ai dit, sur la science, la technologie, l'innovation. Et nous travaillons avec, bien entendu, le ministère de l'économie bleue. Et nous voulons organiser une conférence et nous allons prendre comme thème les systèmes de propulsion. Nous espérons qu'avec ça, nous allons pouvoir réunir les autres agences pour que nous voyions là où il y a les faiblesses, les points faibles en ce qui concerne la technologie, afin de donner les solutions pour améliorer les choses. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, DG. Thank you for being with us on this show. Thank you for your time with us. We've been speaking to Dr. Olusola Odusanya, who is the Director General, CEO, National Center for Technology Management, NACETEM, Nigeria. Thank you for the honor of having you on the show and for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us today. We look forward to narrowing it down in future and then taking various issues, and that way you'd have a lot of time to dwell within the discourse. Thank you so much, sir. We're honored to have you.
Merci, Dr.
Odusanya,
pour votre temps. Merci de nous avoir accordé l'honneur de vous accueillir. Nous avons beaucoup appris. Merci et beaucoup de courage.
All right, so we also appreciate Stack Marine Offshore. Merci, sir. Merci. So we also appreciate Stack Marine Offshore for their continuous support. Thank you to all our dear viewers who have been joining us and joined this episode. We hope it was worth your time. Join us next episode, next Monday at 12 noon GMT+1. I am Ezina Zunani Foma Mwagbogo facilitated the French translation. It's goodbye from us at Maritime TV.
Nous remercions également Stack Marine Offshore pour le soutien continu. Merci, chers téléspectateurs, d'avoir suivi. Nous espérons que ça a valu votre temps. À lundi prochain, 12h, GMT+1. C'est au revoir de l'équipe de Maritime TV. Bye bye.
Bye.